So we are back. Hopefully it's going to work this time. I need to get the stream up to check the audio is fixed because we had a bit of a nightmare with that last week. So hang tight, give me a second. Yeah, the audio is working, so that's good. We should be all set for attempt number 2 at starting the Miami GP here in VSL F2, in case anyone missed the previous stream, which we had to end because unfortunately Tony couldn't load into the lobby. We're here at Miami for the first sprint race of the season, so yeah, potential carnage, as I'm sure we hope for in F2, and maybe a mixed up grid for the race. So yeah, a lot of excitement is about to come to fruition. Fruition? I think that's the word. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, hopefully we should get going soon. People are readying up. So yeah, one-shot quality as well. So these drivers only have one chance to make their mark on their potential pace and set themselves up for a good grid spot for the sprint race. Potential for rain at Miami, so yeah, that's another factor to look out for. With more sessions as well, obviously there is a chance for more conditions, as we will be driving on the Friday, Saturday and Sunday. Well, obviously not in real life, but yeah, you know what I mean. As we're ready up, so should hopefully get to go now. So about last race, Gareth won, so he is looking good in the championship, although I don't think he's winning it. No, he's not. It's Ryan who's winning. Quinn in second. Gareth is in third, so he'll be looking to carry his momentum on and charge up the standings, try and take that top spot off Ryan and Quinn. In the constructors, I think it'll be Mercedes. Yep, Mercedes are winning over Alpine, and Red Bull closely follow. All of those only separated by 5 points. Mercedes on 47, Alpine on 44, Red Bull on 42. So yeah, let's have a look. Hopefully we can all load in this time. As we look for those spinning circles turn into ticks, hopefully that is the goal. Tony has loaded in. We have made it further than last time. We just need an 89. Yes, we're all in. We're good to go. So let's have a look at the weather conditions. Ooh. This could be interesting. It looks full wet. I don't even think that's injured. I think that's full wet conditions. The extreme wets, the blue sidewall tyres will be coming out for these drivers, I think. Well, I might be wrong. This could be interesting. Only one shot for these drivers in these tricky conditions around a very tricky circuit, very twisty and tight. Not much runoff in the case of a mistake around here. If you go off, you haven't got much time until you're going to find yourself in some nice American concrete. So 18 seconds until we get going for qualifying. It's going to be a bit difficult to see everyone's lap, because obviously I can only see one person at a time, so we'll probably just stick with whoever's currently in the lead at that point. So here we go then. Let's go on board with Lyle. We'll go on board with Lyle for now. So coming down to turn 1, tricky brake zone. This is the intermediate tyres. So coming through turn 2 and turn 3, very easy to lose the rear end. Seems to get through alright. A little bit of a wobble. That's going to slow him down a little bit. At the minute it's Davo in P1. Currently leading it in the Mercedes. Lyle in P8. Y Racer in P2. Coming through the tight and twisty. Back end offset to 1, this long left hander, very tricky to know where you're going. Lyman's a little bit wide, doesn't get invalid, I don't think, so he's still right to carry on. A little bit of movement on the exit coming down the first DRS straight, though these drivers will not have the DRS. Ryan Berry, the tyres on the surface, he will be starting from the back. Lyman seems to have good straight line speed up to P5 before this heavy braking zone that starts at 2. Up to P4. Y Racer and Dave seem to be very close to the lead, so we'll go on with one of those. We'll go on with Y Racer in the Red Bull. not hugging the wall completely, so maybe a bit of time left on the table there, coming through the very tight chicane. Oh, he's missed his apex, that's going to be slow, that could cost him. Oh, and he's got invalid. Lyra to get invalid, so let's go on with Davo. Davo manages to manoeuvre through the tight and twisty section with ease, and his P1 leading Kevruski. Coming down into the last braking zone, the pressure is on Davo. One braking zone to go. Stamps on the brake pedal, gets it turned in, gets a nice apex, doesn't want to get too close to the wall, gets a good exit, and it's going to be pole, I think. Yes, it is. Ooh, 4 tenths. It's quite a big gap. So it's going to be Davo on pole then. I'm not too sure who it was behind, I believe it was a McLaren. No, sorry, it was Kevruski in the Ferrari. And then Gareth, our winner from last time, P3 at his home Grand Prix, at least going by his flag. I'm not too sure where he actually is from, but if it is his home Grand Prix, that is good for him. Then Ryan and Lyra round up the top 5. Quinn, Risky, Tony, Mike, and Acorn, your top 10. Let's have a look. So why Racer George getting DQ'd and Ryan Berry retiring, although I don't know if he did DQ before that. But I assume a few people made a mistake on their lap. I don't expect Newgarden to be 4 seconds off per lap. But yeah, moving on to the sprint race now. I assume these drivers probably go on the mediums for the sprint race. No pit stop mandatory, so it'll just be a lights to flag race. Unless there is some weather conditions to cause some havoc. It's dry for the sprint, but those clouds do look a little bit angry, so maybe some precipitation on the horizon. I'm not too sure if we have a formation lap, so we could be jumping straight into the action again. Just in case you need a reminder, it is normal points for normal F1 points for the sprint race. So first to 8th, counting from 8th down, so 2nd, 7th, 6th, 3rd, 3 points. You get the gist. All the way down to 8th place, he gets 1 point. So 10 seconds until we go. Let's see what tyres everyone goes on to. I assume most people will be on mediums, although we may see maybe a few soft runners wanting to gamble, but I think they will struggle towards the end. Let's have a look. Yeah, here's a formation lap. So let's get the tyres up. So yeah, Davo's gone on softs. Ooh, I don't know about that. Starting from pole as well. He's going to probably try and get a massive lead before having to make a pit stop, but him and Newgarden are the only ones to veer off the middle compound. So it's Kevrusk who has the net lead at the start of this race. Newgarden on the softs makes a little bit more sense, trying to work his way through the field early on. Maybe hope for safety collar. There isn't many laps for it to be deployed. I think you're up to lap 6. Yeah, lap 6 for it to come out, or lap 7 maybe. So hoping for some carnage maybe for Newgarden and Davo. Nobody can disqualify yet, so that's good. We don't want anyone starting on incredibly cold tyres. Just focus on warming them up, getting them to a nice temperature, ready for the start of this Miami sprint. I'll have a sip of coffee. So yeah, as we wait for them all to come round on the formation lap. I think Kevruski's in the best position there. I don't know why Davo has gone on to the softs. I just think secure, have a nice easy race from the front, try and get to the end comfortably, but if he does try and get to the end, he's going to be struggling by the end of lap 10, I imagine, very bad on the softs. The tyres don't go very far on this game, it's not like previous ones. As we see, Williams spinning in the background, who's that? It's Risky. Waiting for everyone to go past, that's not good. Quinn's been disqualified, that's not good for him either. It seems to be all Risky, or it's all crumbling. We had such a clean formation lap, but it starts crumbling towards the end, as this is a slow pace from Davo, really bunching the pack up, doesn't want to be waiting long on the grid. is that Ryan Berry is only there. And Davo's here, so you can see Ryan Berry there in the background in the McLaren, weaving in sync. Look at that, perfectly in sync. So, yeah, he's not going to have to wait long on the grid. But you don't want to go too slow and cause issues, as we've seen Alvataro nearly spin in the background there. I think that was Mike. But here they come, on to the last corner. The first of 2 formation laps this evening. This is all a learning experience for the main GP later on. So having to manually get into your grid slot now. Hopefully they will do it with no issues and overshoot the mark and get reset back a metre, I believe it is. Davo does it nicely. Look at that, perfectly on the yellow line. Kavruski leaves a little bit of margin, but I guess he has had to play with Gareth and Ryan. Both overshoot the mark and will get penalised for that. And Lyo. A few people struggling. Where is... So everyone's on the grid now. Can we get a good camera angle of the start, hopefully, as the lights come on. It's 5 red lights. It's going to be Davo trying to win this race. And it's the lights out. And away we go for the Miami sprint. Davo gets a good start, so does Kavruski. Not a great camera, but here we go. There's a 4 right there in the background. That is dangerous. Oh, there's a McLaren. I'm seeing launching down the inside. That's killed a few people. Who was that? That was Ryan Berry, all the way from last position, all the way up to 6. That massive dive bomb. But I think a few people can have damage. Steve Quinn, safety car or VSC already. Ryan Berry, that was a bit ambitious, shall we say, from him. But yeah, Davo keeps the lead and there is a safety car. This could help him. This will help Davo actually quite a lot. N89 gets a penalty. That was an interesting first corner to say the least. Yeah, but the top 3 all stayed the same, I'm pretty sure. Let's have a look at positions gained and lost. Where is it? No. Not too... here we go. The top 5 actually all held positions. Mike had a very good start up from P9 to P6. N89 up 5 places, but with a 5-second time penalty, if he doesn't pit, he can try and get that removed, I believe. If it was a dodgy penalty, Ryan Berry up 4 positions, but we all know why. That was a kamikaze move. I don't really want to, apportion? I think that's the word, apportion blame, but yeah, I think Ryan Berry could be in a little bit of bother for that. That was never going to end well, as the big losers are Risky and Quinn, who have both lost 9 positions. So a very poor start for them. I assume there will be a few pitters for damage because there's quite a lot of carbon fibre, and you can see Risky, no front wing. There's more contact under safety car between Quinn and Glowstick. That might be a penalty for them. So yeah, there's a few people in the pits. Ryan Berry is one of them. Risky speed in the pits as well. It's making the day worse. The McLarens are stuck in. That's going to be painful for Ryan Berry. I assume he's going to have a wing change there. You can see there the front left end plate missing on that McLaren machine. So this is going to be a long pit stop for him. He's going to come out in last, even though Risky entered the pits behind him. So yeah, there goes Ryan Berry. But this does work well for Davo, who keeps the lead, and this will allow him to save his soft tyres. Actually no, we're racing again. My apologies. I thought it was a safety car. It's absolutely clueless from me there. We're actually racing. Yeah, I thought it was a full safety car, but anyway, George and White Racer very close to each other through the chicane, but no moves able to be made through there. The Huss runs a little bit wide, that might be a warning. Ryan is close to the back of Gareth. So yeah, Davo needs to stop pulling out that gap because he's not going to be able to save his tyres for long. There's a 6/10 gap there, there's no moves going to be made. Can Ryan make a move on Gareth? No. He's going to have to sit behind the Williams car for a little bit longer. DRS will be enabled now at the start of lap 3. Davis sets a faster lap, but Kavruski sets a faster lap. I really thought we had a safety car there. So we have a glitch. Oh no, we did have a glitch. There's yellows in sets 2. Who's that for? That's for Risky, who's having an absolute mare. Anyway, Davo nearly out of that second window that he needs to pull out of now, because Kev is going to have the DRS down this next straight if he is within it. I don't think he is though, so I think Davo does have the chance to pull away. Let's have a look. Will that rear wing open on the Scuderia Ferrari? It does not, so he wasn't within 1 second in the activation point as Ryan and Gareth are going to be side by side. Down into the first brake zone of sector 2. Ryan with the inside line, this should be a relatively easy move. Takes a very tight line though, really hinders himself on the entry. And it's going to be Gareth able to switch back in side by side through the long right hander coming into the chicane. Someone's going to have to back out, and it's going to be Ryan who has to concede that overtake didn't work. Really hindered himself into the braking zone, taking it way too tight. Risky's out, so he's going to be starting from the back for the main GP. As N89 and Y Racer very close. I'm not sure if N89 just got past there, but that would have been a ballsy overtake. Did as we have, what do we have there? Another VSC, so once again this helps Dave out. This helps him to conserve the tyres, to try and go to the end with relatively decent pace. But yeah, that's another little break in the action. The top 8 at the minute. Oh no! Oh, that is horrible timing. I've just gone board with George as he spins under a VSC, loses his whole front wing, and he's going to have to pit for a new wing. That's going to be points out the window for him now. There's glow stick pits as well. I'm not sure if there's damage on that Aston Martin car, but what a gift for Acorn, getting him up into the top 8. So he's currently scoring 1 point in the sprint race. That was awful timing for me going on board with George there. But as I say, VSC should be finishing soon, I imagine. We have quite a few pitters, so yeah, these drivers are not going to be getting points in the sprint race. They're going to have to wait for the actual race to go again. The gap about a second, but I assume that will come down when the VSC comes in. So there we go, the VSC is in. Kev doesn't actually get a good restart, so he loses 2 tenths on the restart, and we have battles going on here as George has binned it again. Oh, it's gone from bad to worse for the Haas driver, as Gareth has now spun as well. Oh, our winner last time out has binned it before the chicane. Oof, very risky turning around. Has to wait for Newgard and Acorn and Y Racer to all go past, losing him at least 10 seconds. And that is Gareth out with the points. That's Newgard and up into the points, the speed teammates. N89 does have that 5-second penalty and also is losing the position to Y Racer, who's now up to P5, up 9 positions in just 5 laps. Incredible work from the Red Bull driver. Could he set his sights on maybe a top 4 chase after Lyle? Though he does have a 3-second gap to make up and only 5 laps to do it. Or 6 laps, in fact. So yeah, he'll set his eyes on Lyle. Lyle set his sights on Ryan, who's only half a second in front. The man who had pace last time out but was caught up in incidents. Going to try and prove to us today what he can do behind the wheel of that Aston Martin machine. Ryan does seem a bit faster in the first sector. Dirty air affecting Lyle maybe. As we have Gareth into the pits, he must have come into contact with the wall with that spin and lost his front wing. That's going to be him. Not getting points either, so yeah, an incident-free race seems to guarantee you points here as 18 seconds separate 8th and 9th, so top 8 should be pretty guaranteed if there is nothing else happening, as we have Glowstick and George going into the twisty bit. As yeah, George has damage once again. So that is poor for George. Ryan getting a penalty. It's unfortunate for him. That's going to give Lyle a net 3rd place and Y Racer a net 4th at the minute. Can Lyle get past him and try and hunt down a top 2? Sorry, my mic died there. That's Lyle up into P3. Ryan getting dispatched by the Aston Martin driver. That penalty, it's going to hinder him for the rest of this race. We have a yellow flag in sector 3. That's N89 who spun. That's Acorn up to 6th. Newgarden up to 7th. He has damage as well, but it would have been worth just going to the end because Tony would have had to cut 22 seconds in just 5 laps. I don't know why he's pit there. He may as well have just nursed it to the end. But here we have Ryan and Lyle again. Ooh, I thought we were at a different corner there, but Lyle keeping in front of Ryan for now. Ryan seems to maybe have more pace through the corners, but Lyle running a faster set up on the straights, as we did see in quali. He was making a few positions up on the straights. And obviously there was no DRS or anything, that was just purely setup related. So Lyle is running quite a heavy straight line speed setup as Kev is starting to catch Davo. Those soft tyres starting to whimper. When will it turn into a full-on cry? I expect the drop-off will be bad for Davo, so he's going to have to nurse those tyres. Maybe give up this position. You know you're not going to be able to hold him off, so just try and conserve the tyres and get second place. As I think Mike may have had another spin or another incident. Here we go then, this is for the lead. Kev not using DRS to overtake Dave. I'm not sure what's going on there, but anyway, that is the Ferrari up into P1, and I don't think Dave will have a response for that. To be honest, I think those medium tyres were the correct compound for this race. Dave, red light flashing, not much DRS, but he's close enough to get DRS. Can the DRS help him get back past, re-overtake and claim his lead back? No, he's going to back out of that and concede the position to the Ferrari, so this should be Kev's race to lose now. He should be able to pull away through this first sector as Davo's tyres will not be in the best of nick. So now it's Lyo who Davo has to turn his attention to and just hope that Lyo can't catch as these tyres begin to wear. Ryan hasn't dropped too far off Lyo, so he's going to have to try and hold on, but Y-Racer has got serious pace. He was 3 seconds behind Lyo at one point, now he's only 7 tenths off the back of Ryan. Glowstick sets the fastest lap. I don't think there is a point for fastest lap in the sprint. I'm pretty sure there isn't, but he's not in the points anyway, so he wouldn't be getting that point. Where did N89 came out in 13th, so that is his hopes done for this race. These battles at the front looking quite juicy as N89 in the pits again, more wing damage, so going from bad to worse for the Ferrari man. Davo hasn't actually fallen away from Kev as much as I thought he would have. Maybe a potential chance to send one back up the inside into the last corner, although the straight line speed on that Mercedes doesn't look all too impressive. I think it's more this battle in 3rd, 4th and 5th that we need to be looking at. Because Y-Racer is really attacking now. 3 tenths behind the Alpine, 2 tenths into the final braking zone, not close enough to look up the inside. Going to try and get a good exit out of the last corner to slingshot past into turn 1. Here we go then, the flashing light on the Alpine showing not much DRS in the tank. It's going to be Y-Racer looking to the inside, quite an easy move in the end, not much juice Ryan had to fight with. So it's going to be Y-Racer up into P4, looking at Lyo now to try and get onto the podium in the sprint race. Davo still hasn't been shaken by Kev, so actually a good performance here from Davo, doing better than I thought he would do, so proving me wrong. Although this straight line speed doesn't seem very good at all. The light flashing on both of these cars, so showing that they are using everything to try and beat one another. Tony's out! What has happened to Tony? We've lost the wheel, and that is Glowstick touching the wall. I'm not sure if he got damage from that, but that is a shame for Tony. He was in the points, well, in the points playing position, and now he's out. He's going to be starting 15th for the actual race. What a shame for Tony. But this does benefit his McLaren counterpart Ryan Berry, who does get an extra position up to 11th place on the verge of the top 10. And this battle between Gareth and George could be exactly what he needs to get him up into that top 10. Newgarden on the back of Acorn on the final DRS straight off this track. The flashing light, I can't say that. That's a tongue twister for me. The flashing light on the back of that Alpine and the Red Bull, showing that there is not much battery left as we have another spin. This Glowstick, that 8th place is absolutely cursed. Whoever's in 8th always seems to have an incident. Where is George? George only 2.5 seconds behind now. Does Glowstick have damage? I think he's got away with it, so he can carry on for now. Hopefully that hasn't overheated his tyres and will cause him problems further down the line. I think he's alright though. I think he's alright. It's Newgarden and Acorn the closest battle on track right now. Coming through the first sector, if Newgarden can stay within 3 tenths, it should be an easy move down the straight with DRS. Take a nice wide line through here to get a good exit. Start in the second sector. The flashing light on the back of that Alpine. It'll be money in Newgarden's eyes. An easy overtake coming up surely. He opens the DRS, goes to an outside line, not in the slipstream. I'm not too sure Oh, that is late on the brakes. Nearly heading into the back of the French machine. As actually Gareth and George are battling. This is good for Glowstick. He can pull away. I think maybe there was an instant there for Gareth because he did lose over a second to Glowstick, although they were side by side for a twisty section of the track. So that could be the reason for the time loss. Newgarden's pace on the straight doesn't seem very good, so this is good for Acorn in his bid to hold on. But Kev has started the last lap, just 1 lap to go. Davo nearly 2 seconds behind, so looks like it is going to be P2 for the Mercedes man. Actually a pretty good performance, but those mediums could have easily won in this race. He seems to have decent pace. Maybe just a bit too ambitious on the tyre strategy. But I think this is the battle to watch on this final lap of the sprint race between the Alpine and the Red Bull man. In the first sector, less than 2 tenths behind. The dirty air, even with this new generation of car, is going to be hindering Newgarden through here. We also have Ryan's penalty, but with Acorn 9 seconds behind, that's not going to play a factor in these final results. So here we go then. Newgarden about to open the DRS, 5 tenths behind, but he's losing time to the Alpine on the straight. Well, it's not losing time, it's really not decreasing that gap. So I think Acorn will be alright. Newgarden on the softs, so his tyres are going to be absolutely shot. I reckon George still going at it. Why racing in fact on the back of Lyo? Is he close enough to go for a move maybe? I don't think it's going to be the case, but we'll go back to Kevrosky if there isn't going to be an overtake here, which there isn't. It's going to be Kev who's going to win this first sprint race of this season and take pole position for the Miami GP with Davo in second. Lyo rounding off the podium in P3 and Y-Racer after a very good race up 10 positions, P4. Ryan P5, Acorn holding off Newgarden for those last few laps. Going to come home and take P6. Ryan P7. And the final points payer is going to be Glowstick by the looks of things. Has there been an incident yet? Mike has spun again. Could this give N89? No, he's too far back. N89 won't be able to capitalise on that mistake. But it's going to be Glowstick coming around the final corner for the last point and P8. And Gareth, our winner from last time out, will be starting the Miami GP from P9. As he comes across the line, closely followed by George, who rounds out the top 10. Ryan Berry's going to come home in 11th, Speed Quint in 12th, and then it's going to be Mike and then 89 who round off the finishers in this race. And then Tony and Risky are only 2 DNFs in the sprint, but they will still be able to start the actual race, but just from the back. So let's have a look then. So we actually had everyone below 7th did pit, so a lot of pit stops for a 10 lap race, although all of those were caused by damage to the cars and incidents, especially that turn 1 incident on the first lap involving Ryan Berry and many others. Y-Racer gets driver of the day, fully deserved. But that is just the pre-show. It's nearly time for the main event. As there you can see the points. I believe they are the points that we are using. But for the actual race, it will be the top 12 that score points, not the top 10 like real life. It is the top 12, so everyone from Speed Queen and above will be starting in a points paying position. Let's have a look. Was there any... Did Ryan Berry... No, not going to get to see. I was going to check if Ryan Berry did get a penalty for that lap 1 contact, but I don't think he did. I think he just got damaged. Maybe a self-serving penalty, you could say, but yeah, I wonder if that will be looked at after the event. As we wait to load in to the Miami GP, we have to think about the weather again. Maybe, we've seen rain in qualifying. Could we see rain in the actual race? And look at that. Would you have a look at that? absolutely chucking it down here in Miami. So this could be an exciting race. Given going off qualifying, I imagine it will be Inters for everyone. It'll be Inters for most people. As we have the 2-minute pre-race prep where people shouldn't be readying up, so we have a 2-minute lull, I guess you could say, before we get going on the second formation lap of the evening. So I'm going to go grab a drink very quickly, ready for this race. So I'll be back in a tick. I'm back ready for this race with a beverage. I think the 2 minutes should be coming to an end pretty soon, so we should be ready to go any minute now on the formation lap. So let's run through. We'll run through the pre-race standings quickly. Let me just get it up quick. So your top 10 in the driver's standings. This is pre-sprint race. Is Ryan, Speed Quinn, Speed Gareth, Davo, Y Racer Newgarden, Ryan Berry, Tony, Mike, and Kev, who are the top 10 in the standings. Let's have a look at tyres. Is it full wets? Looks like full wets for people. Yeah. I don't believe quali was full wets. I believe quali was inters. So clearly, track conditions have deteriorated from qualifying. We ain't track that. We will get, that should be alright. So, yeah, very poor conditions for this race, but more excitement for us, I guess, so we can enjoy it. The drivers, on the other hand, are going to have to be at maximum concentration throughout. Kev decided for a quick formation up by the looks of things, not hanging about like Dave O did. So yeah, so look, we have a few people who should be looking to make their way through the grid. Ryan Berry, after his unfortunate start to last race, will be looking for a cleaner start today and a fresh start, a new horizon. Quinn and Mike also will be looking. Tony and Risky look to finish this race after DNF in the sprint. But we have Lio spinning around as in the exact same place we had a spinner last time. I think it was Mike who spun there last time, but not getting disqualified like Mike did. So managed to carry on the Aston Martin and no damage on the formation lap. So kind of a nothing incident. He'll be looking to carry on. unaffected by that. But definitely a bigger gap. Look at Kev all the way in the last corner. Meanwhile, Risky not even halfway down the straight yet. So a longer wait is entailed for these guys, especially at the front. Maybe we can get better camera angle as well on the start. Please, Codemasters. Yeah, who can nail the grid formation this time and not get reset and cost themselves an extra meter just by getting a little bit too ambitious, as it's the left hand side of the grid for Kev. New territory, gets it lined up nicely, leaving a little bit of a gap. What can Davo do? Yeah, very good as well. Well, Lio over again, that happened in the sprint to him, so Lio not learning from his mistakes, a repeat offender. As it's lights coming on here in Miami, the damp Miami. It's lights on the way we got here in the pouring rain, the slow start, making sure to get the traction down nice and easily. Live with a poor start, already losing. But look at that, it's Y Racer with an amazing start. 3 wide, 4 wide nearly to turn 1. It's Y Racer up the inside of absolutely everybody. Gets up into P2, side by side with Davo. Manages to get past the Mercedes. Can he hold it on the inside? Can Davo actually go all the way around the outside? I think he can. Wow, incredible stuff there from Davo. If he manages to hold on to P2. Y Racer after such a good start, only making one position up on Lio. Lio under pressure from Acorn, the two Alpine duo. He loses it. Ooh! He's swiping the front wing off his Alpine teammate. Tony is out already, so an absolutely awful evening for him. No safety car. Actually, yes, there is a safety car. All VSC has been deployed for that Tony incident. But what an amazing start there for Newgarden, nearly looking for the lead into turn 1. Gareth has lost his front wing. Davo has... What is going on here? Y Racer is absolutely flying ahead of everyone. Maybe Y Racer doesn't have a VSC. Oh no, never mind. Y Racer just disconnected from the session. So let's hope he can get back in. He has gained 5 seconds from it though, so some very bizarre circumstances here in VSL F2. As we wait for the VSC to come in. In fact, let's have a look at the track. Is there a safety car? Yeah, in fact it is a full safety car. So Y Racer will actually stay in the lead, so whether he will pull over to give those positions back to Kev and Dave, though, I think sportsmanship wise he should, but let's see. It's a little bit of a cooling off period. Gareth can pit for a new front wing, and anyone else that may have a little bit of damage can also come and repair it. Does that Ferrari have damage, or is it just... I believe it does. That Ferrari also has no front wing, so an 89 will also be in. What's happened here? Going very slow. Out of the last corner. How many people are going to peel off into the pits? An 89 should. Nineberry has a cleaner start than last time. Y Racer does let them back through. So good sportsmanship there from the Red Bull driver. Dropping back into his rightful position. Mike getting a penalty for ignoring yellow flags, so unfortunate for the AlphaTauri drivers. In fact, we have Ryan Berry deciding for the intermediate tyres, so a ballsy strategy, and also Gareth. So these two not having the best starts at the back of the grid, deciding to take it upon themselves to maybe gamble on a strategy that could pay off or could be very detrimental to their races. This is a make or break moment for this Miami GP for these two, depending on conditions. It doesn't look like it's going to be drying up fully anytime soon. It looks like that rain is chock-a-blocked in the clouds. So we'll just have to wait and see to see how this plays out for the McLaren and Williams driver. Our winner from last time out, really believing in himself and his ability to judge the conditions. Jenson Button-esque. If it does work, being on the right compound at the right time brought him much success. What can it do for Ryan Berry and Gareth? As most of our drivers have caught up to the safety car, it's just the back three, the pitters, who we are waiting for. Will Mike pick to serve that penalty? It would make sense to do it now. They would drop him to the back. Maybe an Inter's call from the AlphaTauri team for him. Let's go on board with him and see what he does, because this is interesting. Basically gets the circle penalty for free. If he does pit now, what will he do? He's going to stay out, so he will serve that penalty later on in the race. But we should be going this lap as George pits. Will it be an Inter's swap for him? Let's have a look. What have the Haas team got out? They are the green tyres. It is going to be intermediates. Is it? No, it's full wets. It's still full wets for George, so I'm not too sure why he's pit. He didn't change his wing, so I don't know. Let's see. N89's pitting as well. Will this be an Inter's? No, never mind. He's put on wets again. So I'm not sure what the Ferrari and the Haas are doing, but let's see if it works for them. So Ryan, Berry and Gareth still the only two on Inters. No one else deciding to gamble on that lap, getting a free pit stop under the safety car. Although that pit stop could maybe enable the safety car to stay out for an extra lap, giving the track more time to dry out. But mind, they're really not hanging about, but stepping on that in that Mercedes safety car. Faster than the Aston Martin one, so the drivers will be at a higher pace, being able to keep more tyre temperature, which should make it easier on the restart. As it's N89 yet to catch. I think he will catch before the set to 2 split, so the safety car will be coming in this lap, I am pretty sure. So all those flashing lights on the front go out, and will we get a message from race directors that it's coming in? Not at the minute, so maybe another lap. Oh no, there we go. So the safety car is coming in this lap. A bit of a late call there, so Kev now controls the pace, deciding what we should do and when to go. Going to try and catch Davo out and get a nice gap. Y-Racer has no wing. Y-Racer has no wing. I'm not sure what's happened. I wasn't looking and I've missed it. That's going to be awful for Y-Racer. He's going to have to pit after such a good sprint race, but it's Kev who goes. Davo gets a very good restart. Going to the outside line to tell him I'm not going to the inside. I'm going to try and go all the way around the outside of the Ferrari. Maybe looking for a switchback. It looks decent, but I don't think he's going to be able to get the move done. No, he's not. So it's Kev who holds the lead from the Mercedes of Dave. Lyman P3 after that Y-Racer incident. I'm not too sure what's happened there, but he's got Ryan behind him. Newgarden and Ryan on top 5. Let's have a look. How are these two getting on? It doesn't look too good for them at the minute, I'm not going to lie. So maybe this is a boss strategy for these two. But we have some battling going on with Risky and Mike. Mike trying to hold the outside line. There is a wall there that he could potentially find himself in if things do go wrong. There's a little bit of contact that causes Mike to slow. This could be an opportunity for Quinn in the other Merc. What can Quinn do? Obviously no DRS enabled anyway because of the safety car, but also because of the rain. The conditions, Mike finds himself tapping the wall on the straight. I don't think he's got any damage, so lucky to get away with that one there for the AlphaTauri. Quinn sat behind these two, letting them battle. Let's go back to the front as it's a little bit of a train. These four very close to each other, a little bit of a gap to Newgarden behind. So let's see, coming down the straight, Kev will get into the slipstream of Davo. He's gaining, but will he gain enough? Using the battery, gaining very quickly. Wow, incredible shutdown speed there from the Ferrari. Going to look to go around the outside. Mert breaks late, gets back up the inside, side by side. It's going to be Kev who gets spun around by Lyo. Oh, that is a shame. That is a shame. After such a great sprint race and a decent start to this race, Kev gets tapped in the rear and his race is all but over. I don't know if he got damage. I don't think he will have, so he can carry on, but it's dropped down to 10th as Newgarden and Glowstick side by side. Ryan goes deep in the foreground. Glowstick also goes deep, and that allows Acorn to look, but not successfully get the move done on the man in P5. Risky getting a run onto the Alpine, but not close enough. This has allowed Davo to get a 3.5 second lead out in front. As Risky trying to go around the outside of the S section. Ooh, that Williams is all over the place. There was absolutely no grip on that machine as he spun. Oh, on board there just for that split second we were on boarded him for. There was no grip at all. Absolutely none. So yeah, that's dropped Risky to the back. Gareth is making his inters work alright, the looks of things. So maybe the inters coming to fruition are springing into life. Only 5/10 behind Kev, who unfortunately finds himself down in P9 after being in P2 and looking to regain his lead. So let's have a look now. What can he do after that setback? He is currently stuck in a little bit of a train behind Speed Quinn. But coming down the main straight, one lap to go, getting spun into this next corner, the final heavy braking zone of the lap. Glow stick gaining on the new garden a little bit, but not going to be close enough to remove. It's this train that we should be watching. Gareth on the inters, 2/10 behind Kev. Everyone staying in formation, no one going for move. Davo with the fastest lap at 43.9. Let's see how that lap time evolves as the track conditions change with the rain getting lighter or heavier. As Quinn pits, as that's a front wing flying for, who was that? Is it Mike? Oh, there's been more contact. Gareth round, our winner from last week on the inters, gets spun around. Mike loses his front wing. Absolute carnage in F2. I'm not too sure what happened there, but Gareth getting spun around on the inters. I think it was contact on his rear, so I don't think he will have any damage, but Mike losing his front wing on the straight somehow, so I'm not sure how that's happened, but massive carnage all happening at once there. I was trying to find who lost the wing, so I missed it, but wow, a lot of action here today, only on lap 6. So it's still a long way to go, only a fifth of the way through this race. Maybe this is another opportunity for people to pit the inters. If they feel like that is the way the track is evolving. This is also Davo's lead gone. That 3.5 second lead he got from the instance behind has been evaporated. So let's have a look when they get round to the start finish straight, what happens. Who will decide to gamble and who will stay out? So coming into the last corner. What is Davo going to do? Our current leader. He's going to pit. I assume, for intermediates. Lyo's going to stay out, so he's going to take over the race lead. Ryan pits. Everyone seems to be pitting except for the two Astons and Kev Rusky. We expect Gareth to stay out. So what are these all going on to? Davo changing strategies, going on to the intermediates. I assume most of these will be going on the inters. So the front three seem to be the only ones not to pit. And also Gareth, who stays out because he was already on the inters. So Ryan Berry and Gareth's strategy has paid off, but they are on older tyres, so if that could affect them maybe going to the end, I'm not sure. So yeah, Kev Rusky, Glowstick and Lyo looking a bit worried now if I were them, because they are the black sheep. But if you're Gareth and Ryan Berry, you are very happy with your strategy from the last safety cars. Gain them both 10 plus places just from deciding to pit that a little bit earlier than everyone else. And now they've got to manoeuvre their way around these front three unless these three decide to pit. Now Acorn and George did pit for the wets, but as they're at the back, may as well pit again for to join everyone else on the inters. But yeah, what will these front three do? I imagine at least one of them is going to pit. Cut their losses now. They've all dropped to about 13th, I think. 13th, 12th, around there. But obviously, two Astons will have to double stack if they both decide to change compounds. Let's see what's going to happen. Lyo's staying out. Glowstick is in. Kev is staying out also. So Glowstick deciding to pit, which you imagine will be for the Inters. Let's have a look. What have that Aston Martin crew got out ready for him? It is intermediate tyres, so yep. He's joining everyone else. Acorn stays out on the wet. So does George, so... very odd strategies from them two. Glowstick is going to drop down to 14th place, so still ahead of Y-Racer, who mysteriously lost his front wing under safety car. I'm not too sure how that happened. But yeah, now it's just catching up to the back, which they should get to this lap, so we should be going at the start of lap 9 for the second time, or third time this race. The rain doesn't look, I'm not sure if it looks any lighter though, so I don't think the Inters, I'm not sure. There could be a dry line appearing, but there are still, as you can see, that camera angle perfectly showing it. The standing water is still dotted about this Miami circuit. Look at all the umbrellas in the stand, selling very brightly coloured umbrellas here in Miami. And lovely neon green and red and yellow and red. Maybe Aston Martin fans, who knows? So will the safety car be coming in this lap? Look for those lights to turn off on the front of it. They're still on, and they're off. There you go, you've seen them go off. Those yellow flashing lights turn off, that means it is coming in, and also that message at the top. Maybe a little bit of an easier indication to spot, but here we go, Lyo. We'll control the pace for this restart on the wets. So it'll be interesting to see these two's pace compared to everyone else. Lyo and Kev playing a very risky game. As there was maybe a little bit of contact there. That could be a 5-second penalty coming in for both those, if race directors are feeling a bit harsh. But anyway, here we go. Lyo's decided to go and has got a very good restart over Kev Rusky. It's going to be Gareth who can apply pressure. Ryan very pitting, maybe for damage. Ooh, Kev moves off the racing line, back onto it, into the braking zone. Borderline dangerous, I'd say. But here we go anyway, no contact made, so all's good. I'm not too sure why Ryan very pit, must have been damaged. Let's see. Oh, we just missed the front wing change, but here comes battles further down the grid. Davo looking at Gareth for P3, nothing happening there. George and Acorn, two wet runners towards the rear of the field. Side by side, George making the move on Acorn, but losing time to N89 already. 8 tenths to go. Let's see how they made contact. In fact, so these two, their risky strategy not paying off. Contact being made, but here comes Kev for the lead, looking maybe for the inside into the first corner of sector 2. At the beginning of the twisty section, he's going to have to go down the inside a bit later on the brakes than Lyo, but Lyo manages to avoid contact and hold the position as they've in fact pulled away from Gareth, so maybe the wets are still the way to go, and this is a masterful strategy from these two leaders. Kev basically pushing Lyo through that corner. Kev appearing to be the one with more pace as it stands at the minute. So we'll be looking for a way past the Aston Martin man. But into the last corner, I don't think it's going to happen. So there's a bit of battling going on behind. Risky having a run on his speed teammate Newgarden. Going to be down the inside. Is he? No. Newgarden later on the brakes, managing to hold position for now. Glowstick on Mike maybe. Not quite. Everyone been a little bit cleaner this time around. Apart from that contact between Acorn and George, nothing much happening in the way of contact, which is good. to see. We want to get a few competitive laps under our belt to see what people's pace actually is. It's Kev very close to Lyo. Definitely has more pace. Needs to get through as soon as possible to limit the damage being caused to his race. It is starting to look a little bit dry now, I think. So Gareth and all the runners behind him should start to pick up the pace in comparison to these wet runners. Look at this run he's got on Kev. He's not using the ERS. If he could use the ERS here, he could get past, but he's deciding to save his battery. He's going to maybe look for the inside though. No, decides not to do anything now. Playing a safe game, waiting till the move is guaranteed to go for it. Gonna have to follow through here though. Y-Racer and N89 having a little bit of a scrap. Y-Racer getting past him. Same with George and Glowstick. George and Glowstick side by side. George's not going to be able to hold around the outside of there, so that's Glowstick up position. George on the wets. Not going too well for him since the restart. Having that contact with Acorn and now appearing to not have much pace on the extremes. But it's these four out front who have gapped Ryan behind. So these lot seem to be the pace setters right now, and it's a split. 2 wets, 2 mediums. The wets in front, the inters behind. Wave staying out at the minute. It's risky in Newgarden. Again, we saw this last lap, but Newgarden was able to keep position, but this time it is a different story. A lot of faster starts being set there, but risky. Up into P6. Going to hunt down Ryan now. As Newgarden could be put under pressure by another speed teammate in Quinn in the Mercedes. Not this lap, but maybe later on if he can catch up. As we have Lyle and Kev side by side. Kev has got the moves, so maybe a little moment there for Lyle, and also Davo on Gareth. So 2 by 2, Noah would be proud. Ryan Berry setting the fast stop after that pit stop on the restart. I'm not sure if he got damaged there, maybe, but Davo down the inside, absolutely launching it on Lyle for that one left-hander. That's not really an overtaking spot, but Davo said, I'm coming through, move out the way. Lyle started locking first. At the end of sector 1, he's in third, and it's looking like it's going to be 4 by the start of the twisty bit. Ooh, there's contact down the straight as Gareth finds the back of Lyo, but that boosts Lyo past Davo. Absolute scenes here in Miami. Davo not giving up the position easy though. Lyo was a little bit wide. He's going to have an awful run through the long right. Can Gareth go around the outside? He's going to hold it. Oh, that is so close. Felipe Massa, Singapore-esque. Inside for the chicane. That is his corner, and Lyo has to back out. So an awful lot there for Lyo. Fought with everything he had, but it just wasn't enough. Ryan's going to be seeing all of that and licking his lips, knowing that Lyo is under pressure and susceptible to attack. And the battles going on behind are equally as furious. What can Quinn do to Newgarden? Newgarden has lost nearly 2 seconds to Risky with just 1 lap. Is Quinn going to look to the inside? Not quite going to be able to be late enough on the brakes. Kev does the fastest lap, but quickly is dispatched at the top of the timesheets by Davo, who seems to have mega pace. Started the lap in 4th, up to 2nd, hunting down 1st. And look at this grip he's got. Look at this. The inters are definitely the superior tyre now, as Davo's going to breeze past Kev. Kev, no way he's going to be able to fight that. And as they appear in our camera shot, it's going to be Davo in the lead. And should be able to pull away, as Gareth has to wait to get past Kev, as he's not actually gained that much. It's definitely lighted up now though. You can see the rain just is nowhere near as intense as it was 5-10 minutes ago. Maybe we could be heading towards dries towards the end of this race, but who knows. It's Ryan looking at the back of Lyo now. Lyo tyres have either dropped off a cliff, or I'm not too sure. Compared to Kev, he's not got much pace anymore. Y-Racer getting past Quinn. So the 2 Red Bulls will be next to each other on track. Mike on N89 as well. Mike very late on the brakes. He's going to surely go deep there, which he does. That's going to allow N89 to get back past the AlphaTauri driver. Let's keep an eye on Gareth, who needs to get past Kev now. Look at the extra traction out of the middle sector into the 3rd sector. It's going to be an easy overtake for the Williams driver into the last corner, so now he can start hunting down Davo, although he is on 10 lap old tyres, so he will be affected by tyre wear. Oof! Kev so late on the brakes, ploughs into the side of Gareth. Does that give the Williams driver damage? I don't think it does, but I think that was a mistake by Kev. Surely he didn't mean to do that, because that was never going to work. A little bit of contact at the front. What will the Red Bull drivers do? Because Y-Race seems to be the driver with far superior pace, so maybe not worth fighting here for Newgarden and keep the team's interest at the forefront of his mind. Let's have a look how things pan out here. With the extra grip there, he's under lift off his teammate. Just doesn't seem to have the same pace as Y-Racer. Coming through this twisty section, you can see the sun trying to break through the clouds in front. Starting with dark grey skies, now almost white. Close stick on George. George still on the wets. The wets are not the way to go anymore. Absolutely dead. Ryan on Liar now, gonna back up that statement by looking to get past the Aston Martin driver, but it's not going to be possible at the minute. So there we go, there's the move between the two Red Bulls, switching position, Y-Racer past Newgarden. So Newgarden's job now will be to keep Quinn behind for as long as possible. Very close to the wall there for Liar and Ryan. Very easy to cut the rear corner and spin on that inside wall through the chicane. 3 tenths the gap, 2 tenths now. This should be an overtake in the making, although Ryan has actually no ERS. Let's get the ERS up to see what people are playing with. Liar on 46%, Ryan on 3, so it's going to be very difficult to get past with those sorts of numbers. In fact, it could be risky that could apply pressure to Ryan with the near 40% he has. But it's going to be Liar pitting, which you'd imagine would be pretty much guaranteed for Inters, but he's speed into the pits, not getting the brake performance he wants on those extreme wets. As Ryan goes deep, that could allow Risky to maybe get a run through these first few corners, although not quite. Ryan able to hold on just. You would imagine Liar's going to come out. Behind Ryan Berry maybe. Let's have a look. Where is he? Yeah, Liar is going to come out behind Ryan Berry. He'll be ahead of Acorn though, so in P14 for Liar. He needs to get P12 for points, remember. So the guy who looked good last race until an incident has poor strategy costing this race. Glowstick picking up a penalty in P11. So that promotes George up to 11th as it stands, although he's about to fall out. Yep, there we go. Glowstick's taking 11th at the minute. Risky on Ryan, coming down into this heavy braking zone at the end of the first DRS zone, although no DRS active right now. The Alpine trying to hold it round the outside. He manages to do so, and I think he'll be able to keep position unless Ryan Risky doesn't give up. Down the inside into the chicane. That will be his position. You cannot go side by side through there and keep both cars straight, so Ryan decides to cut his losses and give it up. Fall back into P5, but focus on catching Kev. And 89 also picks up a penalty, so a few penalties start to creep into these drivers. As we have Mike on Newgarden also, so it moves all over the place. Mike has absolutely no ERS, no battery. Absolutely dead. He needs to charge his phone. He will appear first. It will be Mike ahead of Newgarden, so Newgarden's pace crumbling before our eyes. Mike's actually got past Quinn as well, so a good lap there from the AlphaTauri driver up into P7. Quinn will be looking to get past Newgarden now, as Newgarden seems to be the one person struggling for pace on lap 15 of this race. Ryan Berry recovering also from whatever happened at the safety car. Not a lot of ERS for some of these drivers, actually none for, I'd say, a good third of them. Really running dry. Not physically, as you can see, it's definitely not dry, but battery wise, they're dry on juice. Look at the run that Risky gets. Time to tap the wall there, as there wasn't much space between Kev and the wall. But he does get the move done. Still burning. He's going to be on 0% ERS as well. It's going to be Ryan getting past also. So Kev loses 2 positions on one straight. Expect to see him in soon. Unless he's maybe going to try and stick out for a dry period if that is on the horizon. I'm not sure. I do not know the weather beforehand. I can just see what you can see. The clouds in the track, and I can see rain on it, so no dries at the minute. Quinn on Newgarden. Quinn will want to make this move as soon as possible on the Red Bull driver, who doesn't seem to be enjoying these conditions as it stands. He's lost over 5 seconds to his teammate. In fact, here goes Y-Racer, his teammate that I was just on about, getting past Kev, who's had an awful lap. The wets not in the same ballpark as the Inters anymore. It started off quite even on the safety car restart, but now they're playing completely different games. May as well be in an F2 car. So he stays out though, so maybe that indicates to me there might be dries coming soon, because why else would he stay out? Because the gaps between people are starting to spread, so maybe a little breather could be on the way. Very much needed. My oxygen levels are low from all this action. Quinn though, still stuck behind Newgarden. So he has ERS to use. He has more than Newgarden, who's on about 5% less. Ooh, very close to contact. I think there was a little bit, not enough to unsettle the Red Bull in front. Let's see how this pans out down the straight. Burning early, has to come off the juice. Yep, Newgarden going on about 5%. The light flashing, like this is the rain light, not the ERS light. So everyone's will be flashing in this race. Risky gets a penalty for corner cutting. That's not good for him. The Williams driver, who will be hunting down his Williams teammate in P2, Gareth, who won last time out, finds himself in P2. So very good string of races being put together by the Williams pair, to be honest. Second and third, very good for the constructors battle with Mercedes and Alpine. Davo, another fastest lap, 38.8. So he is proving that he is the pace setter, getting pole position in one-shot qualifying and leading this race pretty comfortably at the minute. There's moves going on behind between Lyle and Ryan Berry. Ryan Berry, whoa, absolutely launches one down the inside, and does he get? If he gets this move done, then fair play to him, holding the position. That was an absolute send from the McLaren driver. Here comes Lyle, going to try and go around the outside. A lot of space being left by Ryan, who manages to keep his nose in front. I think he has defended it, so very good there from the McLaren. Lunge to keep the position, but it was clean, so fair enough. As Kev lost 7 seconds to Y Racer already on those wet tyres. Look at the grip, absolutely no grip there for the Ferrari. Loses so much time in the traction zones. It's going to be Kev getting past by Mike. What can Newgarden do? Maybe try and get past Kev to get a bit of separation between himself and Quinn. Oof, it looked like Kev broke pretty early then. As we have more battles here between Lyo and Ryan Berry. Lyo making the move stick this time. I don't think Ryan Berry will be able to have any say in that. He doesn't. So that is Lyo up into P12, scoring a point. Although he does have a penalty, so you will have to open that gap up. So this little, we'll call it the Kev train, all aboard the Kev train. Wet. Not useful in these conditions, nowhere near wet enough, as Dave just sets lap after lap, goes quicker and quicker, and increases that gap to Gareth to over 3 seconds as it stands. Well, Risky, the pace setter, into the 37s, the first time we've seen that during this Grand Prix. So the track is ramping up. Maybe this rain does stop. We could maybe see some slick tyres come out. So what can Newgarden do? 1/10 behind Kev. He's going to go down the inside. Don't think there's much Kev can do. Quinn has a good view of this battle though. I assume. Ooh. Yeah, Kev, no grip. No grip. GP2 grip. What can Newgarden do? This is his chance to make a gap between himself and Quinn. Oh no! Oh, Kev loses the rear end, has to brake, and Quinn has nowhere to go but into the back of the Ferrari. That is awful for Kev. Maybe he should have just pit earlier onto the Inters, like Lyo did. But here we go anyway. Let's carry on with this massive battle for P8. It's Kev, N89, Glowstick, and Lyo all together. 2 Astons, 1 Mercedes, 1 Ferrari. Not any moves into the heavy braking zone, but through this long right, it's going to be the 2 Astons side by side. Lyo on his fresher Inters, getting past his teammate Glowstick, up into the top 10. Now setting the sights on N89. As a Y Racer and Ryan going to be side by side into the last corner. Ooh. Very close to front wing to rear wing contact, but absolutely none. Very clean between these two. No fastest laps set that lap. So far anyway. Let's go back to this battle for 8th position. Lyo on the fresh tyre should have more grip. It does look like the rain could be about to stop. What can Lyo do? Burning the battery, actually flying down the straight into turn 1. Should be an easy move up the inside of an 89. Up into P9 for the Aston driver. Ryan Berry into the pits. It's going to be dries. It's still raining, but it's going to be dries for Ryan Berry. Kev pitting as well. Could this be for dries? So Ryan Berry, he has been a man of confidence in this race. Look at the slide when he releases the limiter. I can't imagine there's going to be any grip whatsoever on those softs. It still looks wet, and I think the rain has stopped. The rain has stopped. DRS enabled. This could be an amazing call for Ryan, from Ryan. But also, this allows big battles down the straights now. The battle for P8 isn't over yet. Lyo making easy work of all of these guys. Absolutely flying. Having to make that pit stop because he stayed out on the wet. Back up into P8. Incredible recovery from him. What can he do on the dries? Let's have a look at Davo. Is Davo going to come to the pits for dries? Yeah, he is. So it is the crossover period. Things are about to get interesting. Gareth stays out. Gareth stays out. I'm not sure about that. Risky staying out too. So these drivers are not confident in the weather conditions, but most people are pitting for softs. Davo has experience on those softs in the sprint race. Let's have a look what's going on here. Lyo on Newgarden. Lyo is absolutely flying. Well, I assume they're going to come in this out. Oh, Newgarden taps the pit wall. Lyo stays out. Lyo does stay out when the pressure enters, believing that the pace is still in there. Lyo does set the fastest lap, but let's have a look at Ryan Berry. He could jump a few drivers here if he has had a good outlap. A split by the looks of things between softs and mediums. Some people going on softs, some people going on mediums. Let's have a look then. Where is Ryan Berry coming for the last corner? I don't think he's going to get any of those people in the battle for P8. They're already leaving the pits, although they do have to warm up their tyres in these cold conditions, these rainy conditions in Miami. Who's that Haas? It's George who splits N89 and Glowstick. He's going to get ahead of N89, I think, on the warm inters. Here comes Glowstick even on softs. Softs warming up quicker than the mediums of N89, and he does get the move done. N89 struggling on those medium compound tyres. Ryan Berry's going to be on warm tyres, and he's going to be absolutely flying compared to these. But let's have a look how much quicker he is than Quinn right now. How much of a better exit will he get? He's got no ERS, and he's burning it early. He's going to have to rely on DRS to do all the work down the straight, whereas Quinn has 30%, so I'm not too sure that move is going to happen. Here we go though. He actually does seem to have decent pace. The DRS is enough to look to the outside for Ryan Berry. Risky sets the fastest up by staying out again, but Gareth is in. Gareth is in. Quinn and Ryan Berry still side by side. Ryan Berry trying to go all the way around the outside, taking a very wide line. It's like a NASCAR high line, side by side into the chicane. Surely Quinn's going to have to back out. There is contact. Quinn has to cut across. Gets a penalty for his troubles. Does keep the position by cutting across. He's going to pull over to let Ryan through. I think that is fair enough. So maybe that penalty will get removed because he did concede the position. As we have Gareth. He did come out initially ahead of Dave, but Dave on the warm tyres, able to perform better out of the blocks. But Risky, is he going to pull off a risky strategy by staying out to the end? That is awful. I do apologise for that. But yeah, the rest of the Inter-runners, apart from Risky, are in. Lyo's in too. How much is this going to have affected him by doing that extra lap? He's ahead of Glowstick right now. So this could actually have been a very good start from Lyo to do an extra lap on the Inters. He has got away from the battle and looks to be in a comfortable P7 as it stands. Very good for the Aston driver. Ryan Berry up into the top 10 too. So that early pit stop has worked for him. Acorn and Kev side by side. Kev's race has really fallen apart in front of our eyes. And he does have to concede the position, so he's not even going to be scoring any points as it stands now. The man who's led some of this race, won the sprint race, he does get the points for that, so it's not all doom or gloom for him. But here comes Glowstick on Lyo on the warm soft tyres. down the inside, manages to get the move done on his Aston Martin teammate, but I think Lyle will have better pace by the time his tyres warm up. So maybe another switch coming in a few laps time in the battle for 7th between the two Aston drivers. Very sideways there for Ghosted. Dave though sets the fastest lap. Him is into the lead now as Risky does pit, so maybe deciding that it wasn't going to work on the inters and calling it quits. But Gareth 2 seconds behind. He's going to try and hunt down Davo, but Davo does seem to have the ultimate pace out of everyone here today. Lyle less than a second behind Glowstick. So let's have a look. I think this is the battle to watch for now. Actually, no, Kev on Acorn. What can Acorn do? Going to look to that outside line. It's going to look for the switchback. Could it be a successful switchback? I think it's going to be. Very good traction on the softs compared to the mediums, but no. Kev has the run. He's going to look to the inside now. Is Acorn. I think it should be an overtake here for Acorn on the inside of turn 1. The inside will prevail. A switchback for the Ferrari. Switchback all over the place, but eventually Acorn does get the position secured and now can try and pull away from the medium run up. So Quinn on the back of Berry, going to try and take away his top 5. Quinn does have a penalty though, so we'll have to plug out if he does get the move done. Anyway, Ryan has no ERS, as you can see by the flashing light on the rear. He's going to go to the inside, but the move's going to be done way before the braking zone, so no real contest there. Unless Ryan Berry could be late on the brakes and go back down the inside. No, he's going to concede the position. Let's look at that gap at the front. It has come down between Gareth and Davo. It was under a second for a split second there. I'm not sure he's going to have the RS here, but it's going to be a 34.3, sorry. That was over a second faster than Davo, I think. Let's have a look. How fast was that? Yeah, that was over a second faster than Davo, so Gareth maybe does have the ultimate pace. Y-Racer, who has shown extreme pace at some points during this race, is showing it right now as he's going to be hunting down Risky. Going to try and get him in that 3 seconds for the podium position, as it's Mike and Ryan. Mike getting past Ryan. So the mediums, maybe not the best for these current conditions, with not too many laps to go. I'm not sure if the softs will fall off enough for the mediums to be worth it. But fastest lap after fastest lap, as the track is constantly ramping up. Obviously with the track getting quicker and quicker, braking zones change, racing lines change, speed can change massively, as we've seen with Gareth going over a second faster than Dave. So maybe Dave did make a mistake on that lap. So he is pulling out of the gap a little bit now, keeping it about 1 second. If it comes below a second, I expect that gap to come down very quick, because there are long braking DRS zones around here, sorry. But who else is in a little bit of a battle? Kev is ahead of Acorn still. There are not actually that many penalties, only 4 penalties out there for Risky, Glowstick, N89 and Quinn. I thought there would be more by now. These drivers proving their quality. Just a poor exit for Gareth. Will he have the RS this time? No. But another faster lap goes just under a 10 faster than Dave that time. So he is gaining marginally. All he needs to do is be within 1 second in the DRS zone, and he can gain massive chunks of time. I reckon about 3 or 4 tenths on that, on one straight he can gain if he can just get within DRS in the crucial moments of the lap. Let's stay on board with Gareth, the huntsman. For a moment, very cautious through the left, right, left. Does lose quite a lot of time to Davo. He just seems to be pushing it a little bit more, but maybe this is Gareth saving his tires for the end to go on and attack. Let's have a look at the ERS. Davo struggling on the ERS front. As Quinn has got past 1089, I believe. I did miss that. Acorn on Kev as well. Nothing's going to happen there. Glowstick gets another penalty. So that's 2 penalties at least for Glowstick now. Let's have a look at the penalty. Where are they? There we go. So Glowstick is on 6 seconds. Quinn is on 5. Must be a stop go for him. So as things stand, there will be a few position changes at the line with those penalties. Let's keep the tyre graphic up, because I think that is the all important thing at the minute. What tyres do you want? And when did you go on to them? Gareth still just not quite able to get within that second lap. This has been a good lap for Davis, so expect the fastest lap to pop on your screen right now. Never mind, ignore me, no fastest lap. So maybe the tyre's wearing out a little bit. Better turn 1 for Gareth that time by, but still, David just seems to have the cornering speed. But on the straights, he is struggling. Only 8% battery for the Mercedes driver and our current leader, Ryan and Mike. Ryan and Mike going to be side by side into turn 1. It's going to be Ryan going down the inside of Mike. Side by side. Oof, coming close to contact, but actually no contact. They're very clean between these two. Ryan has the inside line. But Mike able to carry the speed on the outside. Very impressive for the AlphaTauri driver on the softs. Very good drive from these two. You have yellows in set 1. It's Glowstick. Glowstick has made a mistake. As you come into contact with the wall, doesn't have any damage, so he has got away with one there, unless it was to let Lyre through, but I don't imagine so. Gareth is closer to Davo now. He should have DRS. As Ryan and Mike, the battle is carrying on between these two, the AlphaTauri and the Alpine. As we have another spinner, it's George. George already in last place. His day goes from bad to worse. But here we are, the battle for the lead with only 5 laps to go. 4 laps at the line. Gareth not going for a move here, lining up Davo though. Davo on 1 lap older tyres, could that become crucial at the end of this race? It's going to be Mike and Ryan again battling. How much DRS for both? 30 for Ryan, 15 for Mike. But the DRS is going to be enough for Mike to have a look. Risky sets the fastest lap, so can Risky get involved in this battle for the leaders? Mike overtakes Ryan again, and Y Racer even quicker. So much pace at the front of the grid for so many different people. Ultimately, I think it's going to be that Inter's stint that's going to win Davo or Gareth the race. So let's have a look. Can Mike make a move? Well, sorry, Mike has made the move. Can Ryan come back? I don't think so. I think Mike will hold on. In fact, Ryan gets a very good run. What can he do? This isn't really an overtaking area, so I think he's going to have to sit behind. Gareth doesn't have DRS, but I wonder what's happened there then. So much more pace on the straights for Gareth. Surely if he gets within DRS, within 7 or 8 tenths, Davo's not going to have a chance of defending if it's down one of the 2 big straights here at Miami. Davo runs a little bit wide. Could that compromise his exit? It does. 7 tenths, 6 tenths, 5 tenths. The gap is going to come down, and I don't think there's going to be... Acorn has spun, but let's forget about that. Let's go on board with Gareth for the lead. He's fake to the outside. Can he go all the way around the outside in the last corner? Davo breaks late. Keeps the position, but can Gareth go for a switch back? Not quite. Davo has that ultimate traction and manages to get the lead back, but I think it's all in vain. Here comes Gareth in yellow flags. Yellow flags. I don't know if that will be an illegal upset because Davo goes back down the inside, manages to get the lead back, but always the retired car manages to get out of the way just in time. Davo manages to hold on to the lead. What a final few laps we are in for here in VSL Tier 2. As we also have a battle between Mike and Ryan. What can Mike on the softs do against Ryan on the mediums? Nothing into turn 1, so let's go back to the Davo Gareth battle. The ERS is going to be absolutely chugged through here between these two who want to win this race. The light flashing for Davo, that's going to give Gareth confidence with the DRS and the battery. He's going to absolutely sail past the Mercedes driver. Davo gets into the slipstream, there's not going to be any chance he can fight this fire, but he's going to absolutely launch it on the brakes, and I think he scared Gareth off the apex there, so he manages to slow Gareth down. Acorn gets a penalty, that's going to affect him in absolutely no way because he's already last. What can Davo do down this back straight into the last corner? He's got 15% ERS, he will have DRS, but Gareth seems to have so much straight and speed. Look at that, Gareth is gaining on the straight when Davo has DRS. Incredible pace for the Williams. And Davo has absolutely no ERS anymore. Look at Risky. Risky is hunting these two down, but he does have that penalty, which will probably affect him at the end of this race. Will this be a faster start for Gareth? No. But he does manage to pull 7.5 tenths over his Mercedes rival. He goes deep in turn 1 though. That seems to be his Achilles heel, the corners, whereas Davo struggles on the straights. As Acorn has crashed and retired, it's too late for a safety car or anything, so we're going to go green to the end. Davo is pushing so hard through these corners, but it's just that straight. There is no straight line speed in that Mercedes. He's focused too much on the corners. There you see the carcass of Acorn's car. Look at that, absolutely nothing on the straight for the Mercedes driver. No way of overtaking Gareth. So I think this race is potentially falling into Gareth's hands. Look, 0% ERS there for Davo. Gareth only on 6%, but that setup is definitely favouring Gareth at the minute. So much better on the straights. We have another yellow flag. It's for Lio. Lio has spun and lost his wing, I think. There is wing there, but... Oh, it was a collision with glow stick. So the two teammates have come together and something has happened there. That's come out N89 to pass maybe. And also Ryan Berry's going to close up. N89 with the DRS, but no straight line speed. Lio with that incredible setup. A lot like Speed Gareth. So much straight line speed in that Aston Martin is going to keep the position in his hands. But what has happened between the two Aston Martin teammates while we were busy watching the battle for the lead, as the final lap has been started by Gareth. N89 gets another penalty. Oh, that is horrible. That's his second penalty at least. Let's have a look. Where do we find the penalties? Here we are. So that is, yeah, 6 seconds now for him. Ryan Berry's looking good. He could be on for maybe a P8 if he can keep gaps low. In fact, Davo and Gareth 1/10 separating them on the last lap. Davo trying to get that ultimate exit, but look at the straight line speed on that Williams. Absolutely nothing Davo can do, even with DRS and DRS. Quinn getting past glow stick, but the battle for the lead on the last lap, less than a second between the top two. But I think this race is Gareth's to win. So much extra cornering speed for Davo, but just nothing he can do with it with that lack of straight line speed he has. Unless there's a mistake from Gareth, this will be his race. The final chance for Davo, it's not going to happen for him, as there's still battles going on further back, which I really want to watch, but the battle for the lead is so important right now. Neither of these two have any ERS. Davo has the DRS, but it's not going to be enough. It's going to be Gareth rounding the final corner for the last time, coming out of it easy as he does it, and it's going to be Gareth who wins for the second time in a row and will probably lead the championship. Well done to Gareth, what a race. Davo takes second place, Risky P3. Y Racer, we didn't really see much of him in the second half, takes P4, but it's Ryan and Mike battling for P5. It's very close between these two. Ooh! Mike nearly smacked into the back of Ryan there. But it's going to be Ryan P5, Mike P6. Let's go back to this battle here. It all seems to have sorted itself out a little bit, so let's go on board. Let's have a look at Quinn, who's going to come home in P7. A very eventful race here in Miami, so much action, all the way to the last lap again. Quinn gets a 5-second time penalty. Lio P8, Lio also has a penalty. N89 has penalties. Ryan Berry goes up to P8. Very good there for Ryan Berry. And Kev Roski P9, Lio gets P10. N89, P11, Glowstick is going to get the final point, P12, Newgarden, unfortunately, going to be our only finisher to not score a point. He had pace, but the interstint really killed him off. But what a race here in Miami. Absolutely incredible. So much action until the last moment. Incredible scenes. Risky with your driver of the day for the game. He had pace there towards the end, but the gap was just too big to overcome to the top two. But it's going to be Gareth, the Williams man, who's going to take the win for the second time in a row. A real championship favourite now, you must say. The form is with him. He has serious pace. Hopping and skipping onto the podium, you would be if you had that sort of pace and confidence that the Williams driver must have right now. Lifts the trophy, the team ecstatic. So there you go then. Let's have a look at the race results. Here we are. Gareth takes the win for the second time in a row by 0.6 of a second over Davo. And Risky rounding off your podium. Y Racer in the Red Bull coming home in P4. That is where he started, but he does get the fastest lap. So there's an extra point for him. Ryan P5, Mike P6, Quinn 7th, Ryan Berry 8th on a good recovery drive. Kev P9, Lio 10th. N89 11th, and Glowstick getting the final point, P12, and Newgarden your final finisher in P13. Then you have Acorn, who did classify actually, because he must have done over 95% in P14, and then our two DNFs were George and Tony. So yeah, that's going to be it for VSL F2 here in Miami. Join us next week when we'll be back to a more normal schedule. I don't believe we have a sprint race, so yeah, join us next week and we'll carry on and see if Gareth can make it a hat-trick. Thank you for everyone who has tuned in, and I will see you next time.